ready for 3 unforgettable days in Palermo. From wandering through vibrant street markets bustling with Sicilian flavors to exploring grand cathedrals, ancient palaces, and the winding alleys of the Old Town, this Palermo travel itinerary has it all. Plus, you'll get insider tips to uncover the best places to visit in Palermo and experience the city like a true local. Best time to visit. Palermo basks in a Mediterranean climate with long, warm seasons that can shape your experience. Spring, from April to early June, offers highs around 70 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 to 25 degrees Celsius, blooming gardens, and lively streets before summer crowds arrive. Summer heats up fast. July and August often climb into the high 80s, 30 to 32 degrees Celsius, perfect for late evening strolls and long dinners outdoors. But expect busier markets and higher hotel rates. September and October are a sweet spot. Warm days near 78 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius, quieter lanes, and the scent of citrus beginning to fill the air. Even winter has its charm, with mild 58 to 61 degrees Fahrenheit, 14 to 16 degrees Celsius afternoons, and plenty of sun for sightseeing, plus off-season deals on rooms. Airport tips. Palermo Falcone Borsellino Airport sits about 20 miles, 32 kilometers from the city center. The Prestia Ecomondi shuttle bus runs every 30 minutes, takes around 50 minutes to the central station, and costs $7 one way. The Trinacria Express train is a little quicker at 35 to 40 minutes for $7.50, arriving at Palermo Central. Taxis do the trip in about 35 minutes when traffic is light and costs around $45 to $50. Insider tip. Taxis from the airport have a fixed rate. Confirm it with your driver before you set off and you'll avoid any awkward meter surprises at the end of your ride. Where to stay. If you want elegance and convenience, stay near Politiama or Borgo Vecchio. You'll be close to Palermo's grand boulevards, fashion cafes, and the opera house. Perfect for evenings when you want to stroll out for dinner without a plan. Luxury hotels here start around $230 a night, offering spacious rooms and rooftop views. For sightseeing, the historic center is hard to beat. From here, the cathedral, Quattro Canti, and most major landmarks are a short walk away, and boutique hotels and restored palazzi give you the classic Sicilian charm for around $120 to $150 a night. If your budget's lighter, base yourself in Calza. The streets here are packed with atmosphere, the waterfront is minutes away, and family-run B&Bs with plenty of character start from around $70 to $80. Palermo's compact center makes it easy to cover the main sites on foot, with each district offering its own flavor of the city. How to get around. Palermo's historic center is compact and flat, making it ideal for exploring on foot. For sites farther out, the Amat bus and tram network is easy to use. Single tickets cost around $1.50 when bought in advance from tobacconists, newsstands, or Amat kiosks, and around $2 if purchased on board. If you'll be using public transport more than once or twice a day, a pass can save both time and money. A 24-hour ticket is about $3.80, a 2-day pass is roughly $6, a 3-day pass is $8, and a week-long option is $16.50. All are valid on buses, trams, and metro commuter trains within the city. Insider tip. You don't have to queue at a station kiosk. Download the Palermo Mobilità app to buy and validate tickets or passes right from your phone. Day 1. Palaces, Piazzas, and golden mosaics. Morning. Breakfast at Morettino Caffè Palermo. Start your first day in Palermo at Morettino Caffè, a Belle Époque landmark right on Quattro Canti. The room is all soaring frescoed ceilings, polished wood, and the gentle clink of cups that signals a city already in motion. Order a cappuccino from their signature Arabica blend, smooth and full-bodied, or a strong espresso served with Sicilian confidence. For something sweet, try sfinzetti, light, sugar-dusted fritters, or go savory with cunzatu bread topped with ripe tomatoes, olive oil, and primosale cheese. Breakfast usually runs $10 to $20, and it's the kind of place where lingering over a second coffee feels like part of the plan. Piazza Pretoria and Quattro Canti. Right outside Morettino Cafe, the city's historic heart opens around you. At Quattro Canti, 4 ornate Baroque buildings frame the crossroads, each layered with statues of Spanish kings, patron saints, and the seasons. A short stroll away, Piazza Pretoria reveals its famous fountain in all its theatrical glory. Marble nymphs, river gods, and dolphins caught in mid-leap. Locals once dubbed it the Fountain of Shame for its bold display, but today it's a centerpiece of Palermo's charm. In the late morning light, the stone takes on a warm glow, making it a perfect place to pause before moving deeper into the old city. Church of San Cataldo and Church of Santa Maria del Amiraglio. From the square, follow the narrow lanes toward 2 of Palermo's most distinctive landmarks standing almost side by side. San Cataldo, with its 3 red domes, carries the mark of the city's Arab-Norman heritage. Inside, the unadorned stone walls create a quiet, almost monastic atmosphere. Just next door, Santa Maria del Amiraglio, or La Martorana, offers a complete contrast, with Byzantine mosaics glittering gold in the dim light, telling stories that have endured for centuries. Visiting them together feels like stepping through 2 different worlds in the space of a few minutes. Late morning, Church of the Gesù. Continue through the tangled streets of the old city to one of Palermo's most elaborate churches. The Church of the Gesù is a masterpiece of Sicilian Baroque, where every surface seems alive with swirling marble inlays, sculpted columns, and frescoes that spill across the ceiling. It's a space that pulls your eyes upward and leaves you lingering to catch every detail. Entry is free, but a small donation is appreciated, and it's worth taking a slow lap to absorb the craftsmanship that took generations to complete. Afternoon, lunch at Multivolti. In the heart of the Bellado district, Multivolti brings the flavors of Sicily and far beyond together in one menu. It's a warm, colorful space run by a team from more than a dozen countries, and the dishes reflect that mix. Couscous with seasonal vegetables, fresh pasta in a delicate fish ragu, and Senegalese mafe rich with peanut sauce and spices. Lighter plates like hummus and warm bread or crispy falafel are perfect if you want to keep it simple. Expect to spend around $12 to $20 for a satisfying meal, with portions generous enough to keep you going until dinner. If you can, take a seat outside. Here, the passing street life is as much a part of the meal as what's on your plate. Palermo Cathedral. A short walk brings you to Palermo Cathedral, a masterpiece that wears 8 centuries of history in every stone. Its architecture shifts as you move: Arab-Norman arches, Gothic spires, Baroque curves, each layer telling of a different ruler and a different era. Step inside to see the royal tombs, including that of Emperor Frederick II, and climb to the rooftop for sweeping views across the city to the mountains beyond. Entry to the cathedral itself is free, but the combined ticket of the royal tombs, crypt, treasury, and roof climb is about $8 and well worth it for the full experience. Insider tip: the rooftop walkway gets narrow in places, so visit earlier in the afternoon before tour groups arrive. It makes the climb far more relaxed and the views easier to enjoy. Late afternoon, Norman Palace and Palatine Chapel. Continue to the Norman Palace, once the seat of Sicily kings and now home to the regional parliament. The crown jewel here is the Palatine Chapel. Its golden mosaics shimmer under soft light, scenes from the Old and New Testament unfolding across every surface. The detail is mesmerizing, from the deep blue starry vault to the intricate Arab-style wooden ceiling. Allow time to wander the palace rooms and inner courtyards before you leave. Combined entry to the palace and chapel is about $16, and you'll want to book tickets in advance during peak season to skip the lines. Insider tip: Mondays often limit access to some palace rooms due to parliamentary sessions, so plan this visit for another day if you want the full experience. Church of Saint Jean du Ermite. Just a few minutes from the Norman Palace, the Church of Saint Jean du Ermite stands out for its cluster of red domes glowing in the sunlight. Built in the 12th century, it blends Norman and Arab influences in a way that feels uniquely Sicilian. The interior is modest, but the peaceful cloister garden, framed by slender columns and arches, invites a quiet pause before the evening. Entry is about $6, and it rarely feels crowded compared to Palermo's other landmarks. Evening. Dinner at Eremiti Osteria di Sicilia. Close to the heart of the historic center, Eremiti Osteria de Sicilia offers a warm, intimate atmosphere and a menu that celebrates fresh Sicilian flavors. You might start with fusillo corto tossed with mussels and Sicilian pecorino, or try their norma pasta with ricotta, tomato, and fried eggplant. For mains, options like grilled squid with stracciatella and mint, lamb ribs with smoky barbecue sauce, or the catch of the day showcase the island's range from land to sea. A full dinner generously lands between $30 to $40, with portions generous enough to linger over alongside a glass of local wine. Day 2. Markets, Majolica, and Seaside Strolls. Morning. Breakfast at Bellado Market. The day begins in Bellado, Palermo's oldest market, where narrow lanes overflow with crates of oranges, towers of herbs, and voices raising in quick bursts of Sicilian. Breakfast here is part meal, part theater. You might start with a warm golden arancini, move on to crisp panelle tucked into soft bread, or try a generous slice of sfincione, the city's pillowy, tomato-topped street pizza. For the bold, there's pane con la milza, the famous spleen sandwich brightened with a squeeze of lemon. Most plates run $5 to $10, leaving plenty of room to taste more than one specialty. Between the sizzle of frying oil, the clink of coffee cups, and the constant rhythm of bargaining, you're stepping straight into Palermo's daily rhythm, plate in hand. Rooms at the Museum of Majolica Genius. From the bustle of the market, step into a different world at the Museum of Majolica Genius. Housed in a restored noble residence, its rooms are lined floor to ceiling with intricate Sicilian tiles, each one a burst of color and a pattern telling fragrance of the island's past. The collection spans centuries, from bold geometric designs to delicate floral motifs, revealing the layers of influence left by Arab, Spanish, and Italian hands. Entry is around $7, and the setting itself, with its high ceilings and graceful arches, makes the visit feel like wandering through a living piece of Palermo's artistic soul. Late morning. Explore more of Calza. A short walk brings you into Calza, one of Palermo's oldest districts and a treasure trove of winding alleys, sunlit piazzas, and crumbling palazzi. Once the seat of Arab emirs, today it blends faded grandeur with bursts of street art and tucked-away cafes. Let yourself drift, follow the scent of espresso into a quiet courtyard, pause to watch a painter work, or browse antiques spilling out onto the street. Calza isn't about checking sites off a list, it's about soaking in the rhythm of a neighborhood that wears its history on every wall. Oratorio di San Lorenzo. Step inside the Oratorio di San Lorenzo, a serene 16th century chapel best known for its intricate white stucco work in Giacomo Serpota. Angels, cherubs, and theatrical scenes swirl across the walls in a style so detailed it feels almost alive. Originally home to Caravaggio's Nativity with St. Francis and St. Lawrence, stolen in 1969 and never recovered, the space now holds a faithful reproduction, reminding visitors of one of art history's great mysteries. Entry is about $3, and the quiet atmosphere makes it an ideal pause before heading back into the streets. Insider tip. The oratory is rarely crowded in the early afternoon. Aim to arrive just after lunch, when you can often have the place almost to yourself. Afternoon, Piazza Marina. From here, it's a pleasant stroll to Piazza Marina, a broad square shaded by ancient ficus trees whose roots twist and tangle like something from another time. Once a bustling portside marketplace, it's now a peaceful spot to linger with benches under a canopy and the grand Chiaramonte Steri Palace nearby. On Sundays, the square transforms into a lively flea market where you can browse everything from antique maps to quirky vintage finds. Even on quieter days, the blend of history and greenery makes it a natural stop before the waterfront. Lunch at La Cambusa. Set just off the marina, La Cambusa pairs a relaxed seaside setting with a menu that celebrates Sicily's coastal beauty. You might start off with grilled octopus drizzled in lemon oil, then move to pasta tossed in clams, cherry tomatoes, and a hint of garlic. There are also hearty land options like slow-cooked lamb shank or eggplant parmigiana. Expect to spend around $20 to $30 for the main, with generous portions and fresh flavors that make it worth lingering over. Tour the Foro Italico. After lunch, follow the promenade to Foro Italico, a wide waterfront park that runs along Palermo's seafront. Locals come here to stroll, cycle, or simply sit on the stone wall facing the Tyrrhenian Sea. From here, you get open views of the coastline framed by the city's skyline, and on clear days, the light has a way of turning the water a luminous blue. Late afternoon, Botanical Garden. A short walk from the waterfront brings you to Palermo's Botanical Garden, a living catalog of plants gathered from across the globe since the late 18th century. Towering palms, massive fig trees with twisting roots, and fragrant citrus groves fill this 25-acre oasis. It's a quiet counterpoint to the city's bustle, where shaded paths lead past greenhouses and lily-covered ponds. Entry is about $6, and it's easy to spend an hour simply wandering and listening to the wind in the leaves. Insider tip: don't miss the massive Ficus macrophylla. Its sprawling roots are some of the most photographed in the garden and make for a dramatic backdrop. Villa Giulia. Right next door, Villa Giulia is one of Palermo's oldest public gardens, designed in the late 1700s. Its neat paths radiate from a central fountain, lined with statues and shaded by old trees. Locals often come here in the early evening to sit with a book or enjoy the cooler air. It's free to enter, and the formal layout and quiet atmosphere make it a pleasant pause before heading to dinner. Insider tip: look for the orologio ad acqua, a rare 19th century water clock still ticking away in the garden. Evening, dinner at Trattoria Trapani. End the day with a hearty home-style meal at Trattoria Trapani, a family-run favorite where warmth comes as naturally as the cooking. Expect Sicilian staples like pasta con le sarde, spaghetti with artichokes, and grilled squid served in a cozy, unpretentious setting. A full dinner averages $20 to $30, making it one of Palermo's best value spots and the kind of place where you'll want to linger over conversation long after the plates are cleared. Day 3. Palaces, theaters, and timeless stories. Morning, breakfast at Bar del Corso. Start the day with an unhurried stop at Bar del Corso, a classic Palermo cafe where the focus is entirely on the coffee. Locals lean on the counter with their morning espresso, rich and bold, while trays of warm, buttery cornetti and sugary dusted donuts tempt from behind the glass. Prices are refreshingly modest, about $1 to $3 for a coffee or pastry, but the experience feels priceless, giving you a quiet moment to slip into the city's daily rhythm before the sightseeing begins. Capuchin Catacombs. A short drive takes you to one of Palermo's most haunting and unforgettable sights, the Capuchin Catacombs. Beneath the monastery, narrow corridors hold thousands of mummified remains, some dressed in faded finery, others in robes of monks. It's a sobering reminder of the city's past, and walking through it feels like stepping into history frozen in time. Entry is about $3.50, and photography isn't allowed, so this is an experience to take in with your own eyes, not through a lens. Insider tip: even in the summer, the catacombs are cool, so you might want a light layer if you tend to feel the chill. Late morning, Zisa Castle and Gardens. From there, trade shadows for sunlight at Zisa Castle, a 12th century Arab-Norman palace built as a summer retreat for kings. Its name comes from the Arabic al-Aziz, meaning splendid, and inside, vaulted halls and intricate stonework speak to the city's centuries of cultural blending. The surrounding gardens offer a calm break from the bustle, with shaded paths and the calm sound of fountains. Entry is about $7, and it's worth lingering a while to enjoy both the architecture and the quiet. Afternoon, lunch at I Morganti Bottega Bistro. Settle into the warm, welcoming dining room of I Morganti Bottega Bistro, where Sicilian tradition meets a creative twist. The menu shines with fresh island produce and seafood, from silky tuna tartare with green apple and sesame to roasted octopus over creamy mashed broad beans. Pasta favorites include spaghetti alla norma with tomato, fried eggplant, and ricotta salata, or indulgent prawn and pistachio linguine. Mains average $20 to $25, with portions as generous as the flavors. If you can save room for dessert, the ricotta cannoli or homemade tiramisu make a perfect sweet finish before stepping back into the Palermo sunshine. Teatro Massimo. Step back into the streets and make your way to Teatro Massimo, Italy's largest opera house and one of the grandest in Europe. Even if you're not here for a performance, the guided tours are worth it for the sweeping marble staircases, gilded ceilings, and the sense of drama in every corner. Fans from The Godfather Part 3 will recognize the facade from the film's final scenes. Entry for a standard tour is around $9, with an option for extended tours that include backstage areas at a slightly higher price. Late afternoon, Regional Archaeological Museum Antonio Salinas. Step inside one of Italy's most important archaeological collections, where ancient Sicily tells its story in marble, bronze, and terracotta. The museum's halls are lined with treasures from Phoenician tombs, Greek temples, and Roman villas, including the framed metopes from Selinute. Their carvings still fierce after 2,500 years. It's a quiet, cool retreat from the city streets, and the kind of place where history feels tangible enough to reach out and touch. Entry is about $7, and an hour here is enough to trace the island's past through some of its most striking art and artifacts. Late afternoon, Oratorio di Santa Sita. Just a short walk away, the Oratorio di Santa Sita offers a different kind of artistry, one carved entirely in white stucco. Inside this small 17th century oratory, sculptor Giacomo Serpota turned walls into intricate theater, filling them with allegorical figures, cherubs, and swirling flourishes that seem almost alive. The detail is mesmerizing, from the playful expressions to the folds of drapery that look soft enough to move. Entry is around $3, and because it's often less crowded than Palermo's big landmarks, you can linger here and take in the craftsmanship without hurry. Dinner at Il Cambussone. End your Palermo journey with dinner at Il Cambussone, a cozy seafood haven tucked into the quiet Piazza Sant'Andrea. The welcome from owners Tony and Alex is as memorable as the food, instantly making you feel at home. The menu reads like a love letter to the sea. Tender grilled octopus, delicate sea bream cooked just right, and seafood kebabs bursting with flavor. If you're a pasta lover, go for the rich lobster ravioli, and be sure to save room for their creamy, perfectly balanced tiramisu to finish on a high note. With wine, a full dinner averages $20 to $30 per person, a fitting finale to 3 days of Sicilian flavors and hospitality. 3 days in Palermo leave you with stories, colors, and tastes you'll carry home. Ready for your next Italian chapter? Join us in Tuscany, where rolling hills, medieval towns, and vineyard sunsets await. Like, subscribe, and let's keep exploring together.